Today I want to share a story with you, my longing for belonging. We are hardwired to belong, to be part of a community, right? To be received. It is a survival need. It is a very old hardwired pattern that is useful in some ways, but when it comes to creating your life on purpose, it can really get in the way of your growth and development. So for me personally, I've been following what I call my wealthy wisdom within, my soul's guidance, this inner knowing, this inner voice that has been guiding me forward to create a beautiful life, a life of abundance, wealth in every area of my life. And it's a relationship I have cultivated and developed over many years. And it's taken me on a wild and wonderful and sometimes very confusing journey, but it's never failed me. And so I have been following this voice for many years, since I was 18, in fact, because when I was 18, I started meditating and I saw a vision for my life. I saw a vision for my future. I was a little bit confused because what I do now, I didn't know was a thing. So my mind made some conclusions around what that was and what that meant. But fundamentally, it was taking me forward into my future. And yet, every step of the way, right, of consciously creating my life on purpose, guided by my heart, body, and soul, I have an inner battle, an inner fight. Fears start coming up. And these are what I lovingly call your money blocks, or some of the money blocks that can come up, where it looked like every step of the way, what I was being guided to do, the action I was being guided to take in my business or my finances of my life, felt very threatening. And there's an old story that comes up for me time and time again, particularly every time I'm up leveling, which seems to be all the time, always pushing up against the edges of what's possible. There's an old story that comes up, and it's very strong, and it's been with me over many years, and I've gone through different levels and stages of it, is what I'm calling my longing for belonging. The part of me that wants to fit in, the part of me that wants to be loved, the part of me that wants to be received and approved of. And the path that my wealthy wisdom within, or that soul's guidance, is taking me on looks like a very risky path, that if I keep going along that path, that also looks like the path of judgment, criticism, rejection, abandonment, even attack. And it looks like that there'll be a lot of loss. So the stories in my head will often be, I can create what I want, but I will be alone. That I will either be left or abandoned. So it hits on a very core wound in me, or I'll be attacked, judged, and ridiculed, misunderstood. So that survival part of myself, the part that longs to belong and desperately needs to be received and loved and part of the community, fights or contracts against what that wealthy wisdom within is guiding me to do. So there is this tussle, there's a fight that happens within me. My nervous system is saying no, and my inner guidance is saying yes. And over the years, I've become faster at listening to my inner guidance and following the yes, but it has meant over many years, it's taken me probably a lot longer than it needed to move forward, because I was in constant fear around what I would lose. And now, taking aligned action, taking those little baby steps, one step at a time, because this is what I do, and this is what I teach my clients to do, is to follow your inner guidance, one baby step at a time. And when I courageously follow that and take those action steps, what I see is actually sometimes they're just stories in my head. They're just made up. It's the fear, it's the risk, but it's not always true. But sometimes it is true. And this is the thing that we don't know. We don't know who is going to be coming forward with us on our journey, and we don't know who we're going to be letting go of. And what I found is every time we're moving forward to gain something, with something that you want, there will be a loss. There will be a letting go. but we don't necessarily know what that is, and we don't necessarily know what that will look like. Your mind will tell you a lot of stories. My mind tells me a lot of stories of what will happen, but I don't listen to that part of me. I follow the wealthy wisdom within, the soul's guidance, because that part of me is out of drama, is out of story, and to be honest, doesn't give a shit, is very clear on what they're doing, why they're doing it, because they're here on a mission. This is money on a mission. And because what we're here to do is much more important than the need to belong and the need to fit in, the need to be liked, because that keeps us at a very limited level of capacity. And what I found is anytime I'm trying to, to fit in or to belong or do something on that level, I end up cutting off from an aspect of myself. So it would always feel like I have the choice to be myself, right? To be wealthy and empowered and free, or be alone and be alone, or I do what I need to do to fit in or to belong to whatever community or network I want to be part of, and cut off from an essential part of myself, right? So I kind of squash and squeeze and hide a part of myself in order to fit in. And either way, both ways felt like a loss, to be honest. But what I know is squashing and squeezing and trying to fit in to belong actually has a great cost, usually to my mental health, emotional health, physical health, well-being. And it keeps me feeling really stuck and trapped and limited and frustrated. So what I've learned is I've had to make a choice, and I have to actively make this choice each and every day to choose the path of following my inner guidance and my inner knowing. That path always leads me to greatness. It always leads me to more of what I truly desire and what I actually want. And yes, it's really, really confronting, because every step of the way, I fear loss, or I fear being left. And it's very, very strong and very, very intense. And so part of the money manifestation mastery methodology is learning how to hold yourself through change. Really, this is one of the things I've become masterful at, is learning how to hold myself through change. It's definitely messy at times. It's not perfect, but I've realized that that's something I have to do, and take the risk, because we actually don't know exactly what's going to happen. And it can be very upsetting. It can be very hurtful and very upsetting to be judged or criticized, particularly by those that are close to you, friends, our families, to be misunderstood, because we want to be, together and united. All I long for is togetherness, is unity, is connection, is love, is to merge in unconditional love and acceptance together. That's all that I really long for. But what I've also realized is where I'm going and the path that I'm on isn't everyone's path. And that's been very sad for me. And that feels like often like a lot of loss. But I also trust that everyone, I believe that it's possible to be together in difference, and that we can, also support each other where we are and go into real acceptance of differences as well. But what I also found is, from this part of myself, the longing for belonging, this part of myself has been so terrified that this part of me has wanted to bring people along with me. And also I've been scared of leaving people. So there's two things that my longing for belonging has done. And I've been breaking up with some of these patterns and programs and stories slowly but surely over many years. There's always more I've found as well. Is that this part of myself, what it does is it holds me back. And I've been holding myself back massively because, one, I don't want to be alone. And two, I want us to all be in it together. And I want to share this. I have zero interest in being successful and wealthy and all alone. I want to share it. I want to be interconnected with it. I want to be part of a beautiful and expansive community. But so what I did was that it was quite unconscious, but unconsciously holding myself back, because I didn't want to leave anyone behind, and I wanted us to all be in it together. So I was trying to scoop everyone up to join me on this journey and adventure. And it used to really confuse me that people weren't coming. They were just staying stuck in old cycles and old patterns, and staying stuck and looping in pain and problems. Because I used to think that when someone talked to me about a problem they were having, that they'd want to change it, right? They'd want to do what they needed to do to fix it or change it or heal it or expand beyond it. But I found that a lot of people actually don't necessarily want to do that work, because the fact is, it's hard work. It's painful work. To actually make change in your life can feel terrible. So most people will just keep looping in the same cycles, the same habits, the same ways of doing things, because the cost feels too great to make that change, or simply they don't know how. And we can feel very stuck. And this is where we go into victim consciousness, where we cannot see a way through. This is the gift of our soul, our wealthy wisdom within. It can show us the pathway through. But those old ways of thinking and believing and perceiving keep us stuck in these cycles. And I know, because I've done it myself, but I also know there's a way to break out of it. But so it's been a really interesting and painful learning curve for me, that not everyone wants to do the work, and not everyone's going to do the work. And I had to make a choice. I have to kind of keep going or hold myself back to stay in connection. And I have kept choosing to follow this inner guidance and to keep going, and also to let everyone be where they are. So this has been a really huge learning curve for me. And trust me, it's taken me a long time to get it, is to go into real deep acceptance of where everyone is and where they're at. And I've had to let go of a lot of what I call my wounded healer or my rescue complex. I felt that it was my responsibility to save and rescue and help and heal, because I've got these tools that are life-changing and they friggin' work. And so I feel it's my responsibility to share, and it's my desire to share everything I've learned, everything that's helped me to overcome my pain and challenges and trauma and problems. I want to share it. And this is something that human beings naturally want to do when we're in abundance and we're thriving and we're feeling generous. We want to share. We want to connect, right? We need each other. We need to merge. And yet not every network or community is going to be aligned with where you are. And so this has been a really, really hard part of my journey with money manifestation mastery, is what I call grieving into gold, like really having to let go and let everyone go and let everyone be who they are and how they are. And I can't rescue, I can't save, I can't fix, I can't change anyone. Trust me, I've tried and it doesn't work. And I just end up hurting and harming myself, and also pissing people off, because trying to help people that don't want to be helped, or it just doesn't work. And I have learned this the hard way, but part of it comes from a good place, right? I want to help people. I want to see people thriving. When people are in pain and suffering, I feel their pain and suffering. And so it comes from a good place. But the wound in me, it also comes from a place of not wanting to feel alone and not wanting to feel abandoned. And this is where it's a bit of a slippery slope. And so all the things I do to protect myself from that, and it's just been a huge money block for me in ways that I hold myself back. And so it's quite scary to kind of go boldly into the unknown and not really know what's going to happen from that. And I have received judgment. I have received criticism from people, close friends and family. It has happened. But what's interesting is that people tend to adjust and adapt over time. And what I have learned to do is I have to choose myself over anyone else. I have to follow this inner knowing, this inner voice, and I need to belong to myself. And I know that fundamentally we are all interconnected. We belong to the world and we're all part of it, but we're all having our own unique experience and making our own unique choices. So I have the greatest capacity to love. I love very deeply and very intensely. And my love, I would say, is a liberator. My love is here to liberate. My love isn't an enabler. It's not here to kind of uphold old ways of doing things, especially if they're creating unconscious hurt and harm. So this love of mine is also a disruptor. It wants to shift, it wants to change, it wants to transform. And it's a very, very powerful and beautiful thing for those that want it and are ready and they know it's right for them and on their path. It can be a very intense and uncomfortable thing for those that don't want it. And so over time, I've realized that this body of work that I'm calling money manifestation mastery, consciously creating your finances, your business, your life, in alignment with your heart, body, and soul, is a unique path. And I found that the people that respond best to this work are entrepreneurs, business owners, or leaders or professionals who know they're here to really make a difference in the world. They want to make a difference in the world while also creating an extraordinary life for themselves. It's quite niche, it's quite unique, and it's definitely not for everyone. And I definitely wouldn't recommend it for everyone either, because it is a path of intense and profound transformation, path of change. It's alchemy. It's alchemizing the past, the historical, ancestral hurt and harm that lives inside of our bodies, inside of our DNA. You transform that in the present through the vehicle of your business, through the vehicle of your bank account, your body, and to consciously create a new future for yourself and for the lives of others, and hopefully this beautiful planet. I've got a pretty big money mission, but we start with you. We start with you. So we're here to alchemize and to transform, starting with your body, your business, your bank account, because you are truly the only one that you can change. You can transform. You can inspire others. You can show the way, but you got to go first. So, super intense, right? But for those of you that are on this path or want to step into this path, it is really important that you have a space where you feel like you can be heard, held, and understood. I have needed it. I've got like a handful of people in my life that can meet me and receive me on this level, and it's essential. And so one of the things that I've been guided to do is create space for you to be heard, to be held, to be received, a safe space to do this beautiful work, to go for gold, a space where you're not too much, you're not too powerful, you're not too intense, you don't want too much, right? Where your big feelings are welcome and allowed, your passion, your power, all of you, your sensitivity, your inspiration, your vision is fully welcome and received, while also being with people who really understand how friggin' hard that is and how intense that is. So it's really, really important. You have a space where you can also be uplifted, supported, cheered on, and also celebrated for your wins, celebrated for your successes, rather than having people, getting jealous or judging or criticizing. Because anyone who's on this path, who's actually doing it, knows how freaking hard it is and actually will have your back. So this is a space I've created for you to come in, to have people be there to support you, to have your back as you rise, as you fall, as you succeed, as you fail, through all the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, the pain, the grief of letting go of the old, and the incredible excitement and scariness of welcoming in the new. And this is going to be held in my upcoming wealth retreat. This is my free online event where we're gathering incredible leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, change makers, professionals who are ready to step into the next level of heart, body, soul aligned wealth creation. And it's a beautiful, beautiful network. A beautiful, beautiful network. And I would love you to come in and tap that. And also during this event, I'm going to be sharing with you my money manifestation mastery methodology. I'm going to be taking you through, not just talking about it, I'm going to be taking you through a process so that you can do this powerful work. People manifest incredible opportunities during this event: money, contracts, clients, relationships, but also, and most importantly, this event is an incredibly powerful portal of change and transformation. So you will be doing really powerful inner work, inner shifts, which I think is the most important thing of all in order to create those outer results. So if you're feeling stuck, frustrated, bashing your head up against the brick wall, not clear on why things aren't working, you want to join this wealth retreat, or simply you're ready to up level, you're ready to expand, you're ready to move into your next level in alignment with your heart, in alignment with your soul, in alignment with your body, because that is what brings true fulfillment. We're connecting you to your power, to your creative power. So you're not creating in your business and your finances by like cutting off a leg. I call it integrated wealth, where all of you gets to be included on this journey. Is it easy? No. Is it powerful? Yes. Is it life-changing? Yes. Is it super intense? Yes. Is it worth it? 100%. And what I find, and from my personal experience, it is much easier to do this work when you are supported, when you are received, when you are held, when you are understood. And that's why I have been guided, because I've struggled so much trying to do this on my own. I am now guided to create space, to bring us all together to do this work. So you don't feel alone. Right? You feel well supported. You know you're going to be received. So that's what I've got for you. Again, through my own pain and challenge and obstacles I've had to overcome. it turns into purpose, it turns into passion. And this is what we do through overcoming your own personal pain, challenges, obstacles. We innovate, we create, and we create opportunities to support others. And that's the giving back. That's the real contribution of this wealth work, which I find so beautiful. We have to start with you. Leaders go first, right? Taking that scary next step of aligned action, and, you know, really trusting in that beautiful wisdom within, that voice, that inner knowing, and letting it lead you and letting it guide you. And so I've created a very safe space for you to do this, for you to explore and create and to keep moving forward. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. All my love.